と言うんですかね。
勉強見てあげられなかったし、せめてねぎらってあげようかなって。
さすがに男女でそれはダメだろ。
私たち男女だけど親友じゃん。それともユウは私を異性として意識しちゃってるのかな。
どうせいつものだろ。さすがにもうその手には。じゃあやって。
You know, sometimes I feel like such a liar. We just got done watching whatever it's called, Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive? This was episode number 5. And the reason I started off with like, hey, sometimes I feel like such a liar is there's been so many anime where I have begged and pleaded and been like, you know what would have made this anime even better is if we got the other perspective of the other character, and or we got the inner monologue or inner thoughts of the character. Like, what are they thinking? Like, what are they thinking about the other person? Like, what are they actually thinking when they're saying a comment or whatever? And the reason I feel like such a liar is because in Can a Boy Girl Friendship Survive, we're constantly getting Yu's inner thoughts. We're constantly getting his inner thoughts, but his inner thoughts are filled with nothing but how Himari is thinking to him, but we never see her side of it. So it's getting to a point where it's actually being like super annoying. So instead of really like adding to my experience, instead of adding to, oh, you know, this is really how I feel, this is really good stuff, it actually ends up being really annoying because I think they're trying to go for comedy. He's like, oh, she thinks she's such a cute girl. And you're like, okay, like once in a while it works, but then when it's constant, like multiple times throughout the show, it becomes a little bit annoying. And it's like, okay, well, let's peel it back. Let's grab that. Good idea. Let's grab that. Let's pull it back. And let's also focus on Himari and her inner thoughts, which we get sometimes, but just not enough. So that's the first thing that kind of makes me feel like a liar, because I'm always constantly begging for it in a lot of other shows. But then when we actually get it, it's like, oh, but you guys you're missing the mark. The other thing is, as I'm watching the show, it's not bad, but it has moments and times of being a little bit stale. I don't want to say boring, but a little bit stale. And it is elevated because there are times, like this episode, there are times where it gets really funny. I think Himari and her brother are a really funny duo. When Yu was like, oh, you know, she's like, I'm going to wash your back or whatever. And he's like, okay, baby girl. You know, and it ends up being the brother washing the back. I thought that was genuinely like really, really funny. I thought it was really funny when Yu was like, you know what? I finally realized you're the one. Let's go out. And he's like, ha, gotcha, bitch. And she ends up being like, ah, okay, I'll talk to you later. And then she goes and has like a mental breakdown in the bathroom. So I thought those two moments, they got me. I was generally like, I wasn't ha-haing, you know, but I was like, yeah, that's funny stuff. It put a smile on my face. So I did think those moments really elevated the episode. What could elevate for some just depends how you look at it. It didn't for me, but what could is Inamoto or Inochi, however they call her, you know, and her kind of lashing out at Himari and stuff. Like that could elevate, or I was very neutral on it, but it could elevate the episode. And then the other thing is I also like the best friend, or not the best friend, the male friend. Where he's like an orchestrator. Like he's like an orchestrator of evil. I like that as well too. So there was a lot of good throughout this episode, which I think elevated it, you know, overall. I think this episode like a good 7 out of 10. I think it was a good episode. But in between those moments, there's like this, I can't really put my finger on describing it. All I can really say is like, it feels stale. So it's like, it has like this stale feeling to where it's like it's fine, but it's not great. Like, I don't know how, it's like, it's not boring. Like, I'm not bored, but I'm not like, oh my God, like, this is like, I'm so entertained. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to describe it. It's like stale. And it has like these stale moments. And then it feels like some of the things kind of go on a little too long. It's like, you know, them messing around with each other go on a little too long. And then also, the episode started with like their backstory, you know? I have to be honest, I don't feel like it added. Like, I feel like it was just wasting time. I feel like they're just like, what can we do to get like, a good 5 or 6 minutes, that we don't have to worry about storytelling? Like, oh, how about we just tell some bullshit story about what happened in the past? Like their whole flashback could be summed up into you not popular, Himari super popular. They had something going on. He's worried about her popularity. She doesn't care. They push forward and he talks about how much he loves her or whatever. Cool. That's really it. But they took about like 6 minutes. So it's like they took like a fourth of the episode and just kind of wasted time. So yeah. I still think this episode was about 7 out of 10, but I think that there's enough negatives though that it can be a little less, and the positives like the comedy and stuff could be a little more for you, But for me, I think 7 out of 10 is pretty gracious for this episode. And I think that's probably where the anime is operating overall. About a 7 out of 10. I think that's more than fair. There's a lot of good about the show, and then there's a lot of like not good about the show. But 7 is pretty like, hey, it has its good and bad. So yeah. All right, my friends, that's really it. That's all I gotta say this week. Can a boy-girl friendship survive? With episode 5. I'll see you guys next week for episode number 6 as we continue our journey here with you and Himari. And hopefully, we get a little bit further in the relationship before the anime just ends up ending. Because like I told you guys last week, I was not a fan of the reset because I really felt like there was a reset last week and I just hated that. So next week, we're going to get 𝐜𝐴 going over to Himari's house with them. So maybe we'll get a really cool moment between you and 𝐜𝐴. Maybe she'll push. It seems like 𝐜𝐴 is willing to push the boundaries to make it known, like, I like you. She's not pussyfooting around like Himari does constantly. So I actually am rooting for her, although we know that that's not going to happen. But I would love to see something there. Maybe a girlfriend scenario. Like, hey, you both got to get a piece. All right, my friends. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.